Halo is no stranger to great music. There is an abundance of incredible tracks with plenty of memorable themes and motifs, and everyone has their favorite. The familiar monk chant that leads into powerful cellos and tribal drums, or the noir-inspired Deference for Darkness from ODST, a track so memorable that when listening to it on its own, you can almost hear the rain that accompanies it in-game. I know a few folks who would even point to music from Halos 4, 5, and Infinite as having some of their favorites, but there's one piece that always hits different. Unforgotten, or Never Forget as it's been referred to since Halo 3, is probably the hardest piece of music to not want to burst into tears over if you're a Halo fan. Its simple melody played on strings and that lone piano have never left the hearts of those who were fortunate enough to listen to it in the games it's present in. Composed by Marty O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore for Halo 2, it was reorchestrated and changed to a different key in Halo 3. It was arranged by Kazuma Janouchi in Halo 4, giving it a more militaristic feel with snare drums and a heavier use of brass instruments. And can even be heard for a short moment in Halo Infinite, though it's currently an unreleased piece. When listening to Never Forget on Spotify, I was quick to realize that it is the most listened to piece of music from Halo 3's soundtrack, outperforming even One Final Effort by over 5 million listens, which was pretty surprising to me, making it the third most listened to piece of music from the Halo soundtracks, on Spotify at least. So what is it about this piece that makes it so memorable? Why do so many people love it? I think it's a few different things, the first of which is repetition. This was a strategy frequently employed by Marty O'Donnell in his compositions for the Halo soundtracks, establishing many leitmotifs and themes that are representative of characters, places, and even events. A few examples of which would be the theme for the Flood, which, I guess is technically true because it's all one hive mind, so it could be considered as a character. The piercing strings and heartbeat-like percussion that accompanies this ancient parasite whenever they're near, and has likely been the cause for many therapy sessions for gamers.
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
The Halo monk chant being representative of Halo itself and the mysterious builders of the ring, the Forerunners. Or the Warthog Run, the second part of the Halo theme, which is the obvious choice, typically being played during a moment of action, or as the name implies, the final run with the Warthog. Marty coined the term emotional equity for this type of repetition. You invest in these pieces by hearing them played throughout the games in specific situations, and then when you hear them again later, it hopefully recalls those same emotions and feelings from when you heard it the first time. This was used to such great effect that these pieces from Halo's Combat Evolved through to 3 have become iconic in their own right and are frequently referenced by the composers who followed in Marty and Michael's footsteps. Never Forget, however, is strange in the sense that it is very rarely, if ever, used in Halo's campaigns. First in Halo 2 when Chief makes his promise to Cortana to come back for her while he's leaving High Charity.
Get to Earth. Good luck.
Run through the truth.
Don't make a girl a promise
if you know you can't keep it.
During Halo 4's end credit sequence, and this flashback scene in Infinite when Chief is first introduced to Cortana.
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
Together you become our newfound hope. Together, you become our key to humanity's survival.
The two common themes here, I think, are Cortana and remembrance. As Chief is leaving Cortana on High Charity, he's telling her and reminding himself by extension that when this is all over, he's going to come back and get her. At the end of Halo 4, just before the credits roll, Chief is staring out into space after having just lost Cortana, remembering one of the last things she said to him. And in Infinite, Chief is literally remembering the first time he met her. For a song called Never Forget, it's very aptly named, wouldn't you say? Similarly, this kind of emotional equity doesn't just have to be in cutscenes or in-game, but can be applied to other places too, like the main menu. Aside from our time in-game out-BRing noobs, teabagging enemies, and backsmacking sleeping grunts, you're most likely to be on the main menu, which is where Never Forget is primarily heard. On the surface, it's a fitting piece of music. It's calm, melancholic, and seems to capture the solemn nature of Halo 3's story, with humanity on the back foot, all hope seeming to be lost, and the threat of extinction looming overhead. But it's become associated by many of us as the theme to our memories of Halo 3. The many times we spent on the main menu chatting with friends or trash-talking enemies, waiting for matches or having just finished one, custom game lobbies, searching through the file browser, or just soaking up the atmosphere. That's when you'd usually hear Never Forget always being there and thus establishing that link in your brain. Like how we associate the music for the Flood with impending dread and cosmic horrors beyond our mortal comprehension, we've grown to associate Never Forget with those memories of Halo, and by extension, that particular era of our lives. You can remember roughly where you were, what life was like, what the year was, the friends you'd be expecting to talk to, and so on. The music was always there, accompanying our time in-game and subtly reminding us to never forget those days and all the time we spent playing Halo 3. The funny thing is though that this was likely never intended. Unforgotten and Never Forget were called as such because Marty and Michael almost forgot to put them in the game.
It was called Unforgotten in Halo 2, and then Never Forget was revisited in... The reason it was called Unforgotten is because I actually forgot about it. It was written, it was sort of produced a little bit, and we were getting towards the end of production on the thing, and I'm like, oh wow, here's that piece I forgot about, so I called it Unforgotten.
They didn't compose a new version of Unforgotten for Halo 3's menu at first either. What you hear is actually the same track from Halo 2. Never Forget didn't feature on the menu of a Halo game till the release of ODST and the bonus disc with all of Halo 3's multiplayer maps included. Without this track though, I doubt many of us would feel half as nostalgic when revisiting Halo 2, and especially for a lot of us, Halo 3. It's amazing that this one track that almost got left on the cutting room floor and has been used very sparingly continues to pop up in modern Halo games and can prompt such a visceral response from Halo fans. And to explain what I mean, I thought there was no one better to ask than the people who have listened to it the most.
Never Forget is a song where its meaning only gets stronger over time. Personally, it brings me back to playing multiplayer on Sandtrap with my brother and cousin. A lot of those small goofy moments we didn't realize at the time was what gave this series its charm.
My favourite memory from Halo 3 has probably got to be the reintroduction to the Scarab. I remember replaying it over and over.
Coming home from school, getting online and creating countless memories with friends across the globe.
Never Forget is one of those tracks that really stuck with me, but not because it was particularly associated with any part in-game, but more so how it accompanied the memories I'd just created with my best friend after we'd messed around in custom games.
But when you really think about the end of Master Chief's story, it really is just hope and serenity, and that's exactly what Never Forget is.
You don't expect such a sad, downcast, melancholic track that you would expect for maybe the credits of the ending to be the main menu music.
It's one of those songs that not only reminds me of the golden days of my youth, but one that time and time again tears me up just because of how beautiful it is.
What would happen is we would just like pretend to cry because this song was so damn sad. And whilst that's such like a small memory in itself, it's quite significant in just cementing the fact that Halo has such a massive impact on people's lives. And honestly, I do miss that game quite dearly.
I remember I actually liked the track so much I wanted to find the sheet music for it online and learn to play it on piano.
The simple yet moving chord progression made it an important part of my musical journey.
And I think that really comes from it being the main menu song you'd hear in Halo 3. And even these days, if I even see a picture of Halo 3 and its main menu, I instantly think of this track. It is such an emotional track that makes you think about the good times that we previously had. And for a lot of us, we're not going to get those good times back. But it's important we never forget those memories that we made with friends, with family. And that's why Never Forget is so important and special to all of us Halo fans.
And although those times feel like they're long gone,
Never Forget will always be there to bring you back to that era.
As the name of the song suggests, we will never forget.
I will never forget.
So, happy 15th birthday, Halo 3, and thank you to Marty O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore for composing the perfect soundtrack, the team at Bungie who created this amazing game, and 343 Industries for immortalizing the experience in the Master Chief Collection. To all the amazing content creators who contributed to the video, of which there are too many to mention, you're all legends. I'm so glad that we could all share for a brief moment how much this piece of music means to us and the kind of passionate responses it can provoke. All of their channels will be linked below. What do you think of when you listen to Never Forget? What kind of memories does it bring flooding back? As always, let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to hear some stories from other Halo players. And a massive, massive thank you for watching.